Hello everyone, and welcome back to Cowboys and Cattle. In our last episode, 48 hours after Gracie's escape, the FBI manhunt found nothing. She'd vanished completely, likely using council resources to leave the country. Morrison reduced FBI protection at Heartland, ending 24/7 surveillance. 5 mutated horses from Alaska arrived for rehabilitation: Aurora, Horizon, Cascade, Summit, and Meadow. Amy led their care while Ty initially avoided them, seeing them as reminders of forced complicity. But Lindy brought Ty to meet Aurora, reframing his facility work as heroism. "You saved horses even when you were scared and hurt." Ty began helping with their rehabilitation, finding therapy and healing survivors of Nathan's operation. Chin noted significant progress. T was sleeping better, having fewer nightmares. 3 weeks later, a letter from Gracie claimed she'd left the country and wouldn't pursue the family further. The council decided Ty wasn't worth the attention. Ty burned the letter, symbolically destroying the connection to his tormentor. That night, he slept through without nightmares, not because trauma was gone, but because he was building something positive. If this healing journey has moved you, please hit that like button and subscribe. Today's episode focuses on a different kind of justice and a different kind of betrayal. Tim Fleming Lou and Amy's father, the man who helped Nathan's people kidnap Ty 5 years ago, faces his sentencing hearing. For months, Tim has been cooperating with the FBI, providing information about the council's operations in exchange for consideration at sentencing. But cooperation doesn't erase betrayal. It doesn't undo the 5 years Ty lost or the trauma that still haunts him. Amy and Lou must attend the hearing and face the man who sold Ty for money, who chose greed over family, who caused devastation that still ripples through their lives. Meanwhile, at Heartland, Ty experiences something he hasn't felt in months: normalcy. Teaching Lindy about the horses, sharing family dinners with laughter instead of tension, living without constant threat. But that fragile peace is about to be tested by a judge's unprecedented decision. This is episode 97, and today the family learns that sometimes justice looks nothing like what you expected. The morning decision. Amy stood in her bedroom at 7 a.m., staring at the professional outfit laid out on the bed: navy suit, white blouse, sensible shoes, courthouse attire for Tim's sentencing hearing. She'd been dreading this day for weeks. Taibe emerged from the bathroom, already dressed in ranch clothes, ready for a normal day of work with the horses.
"You don't have to go. Lou can represent the family. You can stay here."
He's my father. I need to be there. Need to look him in the eye when the judge sentences him.
"What are you hoping for? What sentence would feel like justice?"
Amy sat on the bed, her hands twisting together, struggling to articulate the complex emotions.
I don't know. Part of me wants him to get the maximum 20 years or more. He sold you, helped kidnap you, caused 5 years of torture. He deserves to suffer for that. But another part of me remembers he's my father, who was there when Mom died, and that part feels guilty for wanting him punished.
You can want both things. You can want justice and still feel conflicted about your father going to prison. Those feelings aren't contradictory. They're human.
What do you want? What sentence would feel right to you?
Honestly, I don't know either. A year ago, if you'd told me the person who helped Nathan's people kidnap me would be sentenced today, I'd have said I wanted them to suffer, wanted them to experience a fraction of what I experienced. But now, I'm too tired for revenge. I just want it to be over. Want Tim held accountable and then removed from our lives so we can move forward.
Lou appeared in the doorway, also dressed for court, her expression showing determination mixed with dread.
"The car's ready. We should leave in 10 minutes to make it to Calgary on time. Jack and Lisa are staying here with Lindy. Morrison's meeting us at the courthouse."
Have you prepared a victim impact statement? The prosecutor said we could address the court before sentencing.
I wrote something, 4 pages, about how Tim's betrayal affected this family. About your suffering, Ty. About Lindy growing up without her father. About the financial and emotional cost? I don't know if I can actually read it without breaking down, but I wrote it.
I didn't write anything. I don't think I can articulate it properly. Everything I feel about Tim is too complicated for a coherent statement.
Then let Lou speak for both of you. Let her represent the family's pain. You don't have to perform your grief for a judge.
After Amy and Lou left, the house felt quieter. Jack sat in his chair reading the newspaper. His injuries from Gracie's kidnapping mostly healed, but his movements still showing occasional stiffness. Lisa was in the kitchen preparing breakfast, and Lindy appeared at the bottom of the stairs in her pajamas, blonde braid messy from sleep. Where did Mom and Aunt Lou go?
They had to go to Calgary for some legal things. Adult stuff. They'll be back this afternoon.
Is it about the bad people? The ones who hurt you?
Sort of. It's about someone who helped the bad people a long time ago. But he's being punished now. So it's the justice system working the way it's supposed to.
Good. People who hurt other people should be punished. Her simple moral clarity was refreshing. 9-year-olds saw the world in clear terms: right and wrong, fair and unfair. Adults understood the nuances, the complications, the gray areas. But sometimes Lindy's straightforward perspective was exactly what Ty needed.
You want to help me with the horses this morning? Aurora needs her breathing treatment, and I could use an assistant.
Really? I can help with the medicine?
You can help hold the equipment while I work with her. Come on, get dressed and grab some breakfast. We've got work to do.
The court room. The Calgary courthouse was familiar to Amy and Lou. They'd been here for Nathan's trial just weeks earlier, but today felt different. Today wasn't about a stranger's crimes. Today was about family betrayal. Tim sat at the defendant's table in an orange jumpsuit, hands cuffed in front of him. He'd lost weight during his months in custody. His face showed the strain of incarceration and guilt. When Amy and Lou entered, his eyes found them immediately desperate, pleading, full of remorse that might or might not be genuine. Morrison sat in the gallery. Having coordinated with prosecutors about Tim's cooperation, he nodded to Amy and Lou as they took their seats. The judge entered, a stern woman in her 60s named Judge Patricia. She'd reviewed all the case materials, all the evidence, all of Tim's cooperation agreements. We're here for the sentencing of Timothy Fleming, who has pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit kidnapping, aiding a criminal organization, and obstruction of justice. Fleming, please stand. Tim stood, his lawyer beside him. He looked smaller than Amy remembered, diminished. Before I pronounce sentence, I'll hear from the victims. Fleming, I understand you wish to address the court. Lou stood, her hands shaking as she held her prepared statement. She moved to the podium designated for victim impact statements.
Your Honor, my name is Lou Fleming. Tim Fleming is my father. And 5 years ago, he helped criminals kidnap my brother-in-law, Ty Borden, for money. For a payoff that he thought was worth more than Ty's life.
Her voice was steady, despite the emotion beneath it.
Ty was shot. Instead of calling for help, my father helped people connected to Nathan Price's operation to transport Ty to a medical facility where Ty's injuries could be treated just enough to keep him alive for kidnapping. My father facilitated every step of Ty's abduction.
She looked directly at Tim.
For 5 years we thought Ty was dead. My sister Amy raised their daughter Lindy alone, believing she was a widow. Lindy grew up without her father. Our family mourned a man who wasn't dead but was being tortured in Alaska because of you. Because you chose money over family.
Tim's eyes were wet, his face showing devastation as he listened.
When Ty came home, he was broken. PTSD so severe he couldn't sleep. Nightmares every night, flashbacks during normal daily activities. Memory gaps from forced chemical suppression. He barely recognized his own daughter. And all of that, every moment of his suffering exists because you made a choice. You chose to betray him.
She paused, composing herself.
The financial cost to this family has been enormous. Therapy bills, medical bills, security costs, when Nathan's organization threatened us. Lost income because Ty couldn't work, but the emotional cost? That's incalculable. You can't put a price on 5 stolen years. On a childhood without a father, on trauma that will take decades to heal.
She looked at the judge.
Your Honor, my father has cooperated with the FBI. He's provided valuable information about the council's operations. And I'm grateful for that cooperation because it's helped protect other potential victims, but cooperation doesn't erase what he did. It doesn't undo the damage, and it doesn't mean he deserves leniency. Tim Fleming betrayed his family in the worst possible way. He sold a man, his daughter's husband, his granddaughter's father, to criminals who tortured him for 5 years. That deserves significant punishment.
She returned to her seat, tears streaming down her face, but her statement delivered. Amy squeezed her hand, both of them waiting for the judge's response. Thank you, Miss Fleming. Mr. Fleming, do you wish to make a statement before sentencing? Tim stood again, this time without his lawyer prompting him. His voice was hoarse, broken. Your Honor, I don't deserve to speak. I don't deserve to be heard. But if you'll allow it, I need to say something to my daughters and to Ty, even though he's not here. The judge nodded permission. 5 years ago, I was desperate, financially ruined, drowning in debt. And when people approached me offering money, I took it. I told myself it was just information, that I wasn't really doing anything wrong, that Ty would be fine. He looked at Amy and Lou. I was wrong, catastrophically wrong. And I've spent every day since Tay came home, understanding the magnitude of what I did. I sold a man, enabled his torture, and destroyed my family's trust. And there's no excuse for that. No justification. No amount of financial desperation that makes it okay. His voice broke. I know I can't undo it. I know cooperation with the FBI doesn't erase my crime. I know that providing information about the council doesn't bring back Ty's 5 years or Lindy's childhood with her father. But Your Honor, if you'll allow it, I want to spend whatever time I have left trying to make amends. Not because I deserve forgiveness. I don't. But because, maybe, possibly, I can help prevent this from happening to anyone else. He sat down, his statement finished. The judge reviewed her notes, her expression unreadable. Mr. Fleming, you've pleaded guilty to serious crimes. Conspiracy to commit kidnapping carries a sentence of up to 20 years. Your cooperation with federal authorities is noted and appreciated. Your information has led to arrests and prevented potential future crimes. However, cooperation is a mitigating factor, not an absolution. She paused. After reviewing all materials, all victim impact statements, and all recommendations from prosecution and defense, I'm prepared to pronounce sentence. Timothy Fleming, I sentence you to 15 years in federal prison. However, the however hung in the air. Lou and Amy exchanged confused glances. However, I'm granting a highly unusual modification to this sentence based on several unique factors. First, your cooperation has been extensive and ongoing. Second, you have significant health issues that make traditional incarceration challenging. Third, and most importantly, the prosecution and FBI have requested consideration for alternative confinement that would allow you to continue providing intelligence about council operations while serving your sentence. Lou's stomach dropped. Alternative confinement? What did that mean? Therefore, I'm allowing you to serve your 15-year sentence under house arrest at Heartland Ranch with the following conditions. You will wear an ankle monitor at all times. You will be confined to the property with no exceptions, except medical emergencies. You will continue cooperating with FBI investigations. You will have no contact with known council members or associates. You will submit to regular monitoring and check-ins. And most importantly, this arrangement exists only with the consent of the Heartland property owners. If at any time they wish to revoke this arrangement, you'll be transferred to traditional federal prison to serve the remainder of your sentence. The gavel came down. Tim would serve 15 years of house arrest at Heartland, living on the same property as the family he'd betrayed, facing them every day. Constant reminder of his crime. Amy and Lou sat in stunned silence as Tim was led out, his expression showing relief and fear in equal measure. Morrison approached them cautiously. I know this is shocking, but from an FBI perspective, having Tim accessible for ongoing interviews is valuable. And frankly, making him face you every day for 15 years is a harsher punishment than isolating him in prison, where he could avoid confronting what he did.
Grandpa agreed to this? Without asking us?
Jack was consulted 2 days ago. He said he needed to think about it. He called me this morning and confirmed. Said something about how having Tim there would force the family to process the betrayal instead of avoiding it. And that facing consequences while surrounded by the people you hurt is its own kind of justice.
When does this start? When does Tim arrive at Heartland?
Tomorrow, he'll be transported with FBI escort fitted with an ankle monitor and confined to a designated room with strict movement restrictions. Lou stood, her face showing barely controlled fury.
I need to talk to Grandpa, right now.
Meanwhile at Heartland, while Amy and Lou dealt with courtroom shock, Ty was experiencing something remarkable. A normal morning with his daughter. They'd worked with Aurora together, Lindy carefully holding the nebulizer, while Ty administered the breathing treatment. The mare had been cooperative, her trust in them evident in her calm acceptance of the medical intervention. How do you know she's feeling better? Can horses tell you when they hurt?
Not with words, but with behavior. See how she's standing? Weight evenly distributed, head at a relaxed height, ears forward. That tells me she's comfortable. If she was in pain, she'd shift her weight, pin her ears back, show tension in her body.
So you have to learn horse language.
Exactly. And the more time you spend with horses, the better you get at understanding what they're saying.
They moved on to Horizon next, working with the bay gelding in the round pen. His coordination issues were evident in his movements, but he tried hard, wanting to please, despite his limitations.
Watch how patient he is with himself. He knows he's not as coordinated as other horses, but he keeps trying. That's courage, Lindy. Not being unafraid, but being afraid and trying anyway.
Like you, Daddy. You were scared when the bad people hurt you. But you kept trying to be okay. You kept trying to come home to us. The observation hit Ty harder than he expected. His 9-year-old daughter understood something profound about his experience. Understood that survival was a form of courage.
Yeah, exactly like that.
By lunchtime, they'd worked with all 5 mutated horses. Cascade's medication had been adjusted. Summit's environment had been checked for potential contaminants. Meadow's vitals had been monitored and recorded. Lisa prepared lunch sandwiches and soup. Nothing fancy, but made with care. Jack, Ty, Lindy, and Katie gathered around the kitchen table. Sophie and Rebecca were visiting too, Daniel having gone to a therapy appointment in Calgary. The conversation was light. Jack telling stories about past Heartland horses. Lisa discussing plans for her art gallery. Katie talking about school projects. Lindy describing her morning helping Ty with the special horses. It was normal. Beautifully, preciously normal. The kind of family meal that had seemed impossible just months ago when Ty was barely functional and the family was under constant threat.
This is nice. This is really nice. I'd forgotten what it felt like to just exist, without crisis, without danger, just normal family life.
This is what we fought for, what we protected. This right here, family around a table sharing a meal, that's worth everything.
Then Jack's phone rang. Lou's name on the caller ID. He answered, listened, his expression changing from relaxed to serious.
Okay, yes, I understand you're upset. We'll talk when you get home. Yes, I knew. I made the decision. We'll discuss it. Drive safely.
He ended the call, and everyone could tell something had shifted. What's wrong? What happened at the hearing?
Tim's sentence is 15 years, but the judge granted house arrest here at Heartland instead of prison. He arrives tomorrow.
The table went silent. Tide's fork stopped halfway to his mouth. Katie and Lindy looked confused. Sophie watched the adults' reactions, trying to understand what was happening.
Tim's coming here? To live?
To serve his sentence under house arrest. Yes, ankle monitor, movement restrictions, FBI oversight. But yes, he'll be living here.
And you agreed to this? Without asking me? Without asking Amy or Lou?
The FBI consulted me 2 days ago. I've been thinking about it constantly. And yes, I agreed. Because Ty sending Tim to prison is easy. It's clean. We never have to see him, never have to confront him, never have to deal with the complexity of family betrayal. But having him here, facing him every day, making him look at what he destroyed, that's real accountability.
Or it's torture. For all of us. Having the man who sold me living in the same house, eating at the same table.
He won't be eating at our table. He'll have a separate room with strict boundaries. But yes, you'll see him. You'll have to face him. And Ty, I think that's necessary for all of us. Because if we send him away to prison, we never process this betrayal. We never move past it. We just bury it and hope it doesn't resurface.
I can't believe you made this decision without consulting me. I'm the one he sold. I'm the one who suffered because of his choice. And you decided without asking me how I felt about having him here.
Jack's expression showed the weight of his decision.
You're right. I should have consulted you. Should have gotten your input. But Ty, if I'd asked, you would have said no. Anyone would say no to having their betrayer living with them. But sometimes the hard choice is the right choice. And I believe having Tim here, making him face what he did every single day for 15 years, is the right choice.
Ty stood abruptly, his appetite gone.
I need some air. I need to think about this without everyone watching me process it.
He left through the back door, heading toward the pastures where the regular horses grazed. The therapy horses. The ones without mutations, the ones who represented normalcy instead of trauma. Lindy started to follow, but Lisa gently stopped her. Let your father have some time alone, sweetheart. He needs to think. But he's upset. Gigi made him upset.
Sometimes adults need to be upset for a while before they can talk about it. Your dad will be okay. He just needs space.
The confrontation. Amy and Lou arrived home an hour later, both of them visibly furious. They found Jack in his office and didn't bother knocking before entering.
How could you? How could you agree to have Tim live here without consulting us?
Because it's my property and my decision, and because I believe it's the right thing to do.
Right for who? Not for Ty. Not for us. For you. Some misguided attempt at forced reconciliation?
For the family. For processing what Tim did instead of burying it. Girls, I know you're angry. You have every right to be. But think about this. Tim in prison means we never have to deal with him, never have to confront the betrayal. We can pretend it didn't happen or pretend he doesn't exist. But that's not healing. That's avoidance.
And having him here every day is healing? Seeing the man who sold Ty every time we walk through the house?
It's accountability. It's forcing him to face what he destroyed. And yes, it's going to be hard for all of us. But running from hard things isn't strength, it's cowardice.
Amy's voice was quieter, but no less intense.
What did Ty say when you told him?
He was upset, angry. He left to process it alone.
Of course he's upset. Grandpa, Ty has PTSD. He's been making progress, but he's still fragile. Adding this kind of stress, having his betrayer living here, could undo months of therapy. Did you consider that? Did you think about how this affects his mental health?
I thought about all of it. And yes, it might be difficult for Ty. But Amy, Ty is stronger than you're giving him credit for. He survived 5 years of torture. He can survive having Tim here under controlled circumstances.
That's not your decision to make. It's Ty's life. His trauma. His recovery. You don't get to decide what he can handle.
And you don't get to protect him from everything uncomfortable. Sometimes facing hard things is how we heal. Sometimes the only way through trauma is straight through it, not around it.
The argument continued for another 20 minutes, voices rising, old family dynamics surfacing, Jack's stubbornness meeting, Lou's fury meeting Amy's protective instincts. No one backing down. No one willing to concede. Finally, Lisa intervened, her voice cutting through the noise. Stop, all of you. This arguing isn't solving anything. Jack made a decision. The judge approved it. Tim is coming tomorrow, whether you like it or not. So instead of fighting about whether it should happen, start figuring out how to make it work. The room fell silent. Lisa's pragmatism forcing everyone to acknowledge reality. Lou, Amy, you have every right to be angry, but your anger doesn't change the facts. Jack, you should have consulted them. You should have gotten Ty's input, but you didn't. And now, we deal with consequences. So here's what we're going to do. We set boundaries. Strict boundaries. Tim stays in a designated room. He doesn't participate in family meals. He has no unsupervised contact with Lindy or Katie. And Saud, and most importantly, if Ty says this isn't working, we petition the judge to revoke house arrest and send Tim to prison. Agreed. Slowly, reluctantly, everyone nodded.
Agreed. But I won't pretend to be happy about this.
Where's Ty now? I need to find him.
T.I. and Emmy. Amy found Ty sitting on the fence overlooking the north pasture, watching horses graze in the late afternoon sun. She climbed up beside him, neither of them speaking for several minutes. Finally, Ty broke the silence.
I don't know if I can do this. Having Tim here, seeing him every day, being reminded constantly of the choice he made.
You don't have to. If this is too much, we petition the judge. Send Tim to prison. Jack's decision doesn't override your needs.
But what if Jack's right? What if avoiding Tim is just another form of letting Nathan win? I spent 5 years being controlled by someone else's choices. I don't want to spend the rest of my life being controlled by fear of facing hard things.
There's a difference between facing hard things and subjecting yourself to unnecessary trauma.
Is it unnecessary? Or is it, I don't know, an opportunity? To confront Tim, to hear him explain himself, to maybe find some kind of closure that I couldn't get if he was in a prison I never had to see.
You're seriously considering giving this a chance?
I'm considering not making a decision right now. Tim arrives tomorrow. Maybe I see him, talk to him, and realize I can't handle it. Maybe I last a week before telling Jack this was a terrible idea. Or maybe facing my betrayer every day teaches me something about forgiveness or strength or letting go. I don't know yet.
We don't have to figure it all out tonight. We have time.
How was the hearing? How did Lou's statement go?
Powerful. She spoke about everything Tim's betrayal cost us. Made it clear there's no easy forgiveness. Then Tim made his own statement, apologized, acknowledged he can't undo the damage, asked for a chance to make amends. It was complicated. He sounded genuine, but I don't know if genuine remorse is enough.
Did he look at you when he spoke?
He looked at both Lou and me. He was crying. Looked broken. I don't know if that makes it better or worse.
They sat together as the sun continued its descent, both processing the impossible situation they'd found themselves in. Tim Fleming, the man who'd sold Ty to criminals, would be living at Heartland tomorrow. And somehow, they'd all have to find a way to survive it. That concludes today's episode. Amy and Lou attended Tim's sentencing hearing, where Lou delivered a powerful victim impact statement detailing the 5-year cost of Tim's betrayal, T's torture, Lindy's childhood without her father, the family's mourning, the PTSD, the financial burden. Tim pleaded guilty and made his own statement. acknowledging there's no excuse for selling Ty to criminals. He asked not for forgiveness, but for a chance to make amends through continued FBI cooperation. Judge Morrison sentenced him to 15 years, but granted house arrest at Heartland, a decision made in consultation with Jack, but without informing Amy, Lou, or Ty. Lou objected in court, but learned the decision was already made. At Heartland, Ty experienced beautiful normalcy, with Lindy teaching her about the horses, sharing family lunch, laughter returning to the house. Then Jack's phone call revealed Tim's sentence. Ty was furious that Jack made the decision without consulting him. Amy and Lou arrived home equally outraged, confronting Jack about agreeing to have Tim live at their home. Jack defended his choice. Having Tim in prison is easy avoidance, but having him here facing his victims every day is real accountability. Lisa intervened with pragmatism, set strict boundaries, and if Ty can't handle it, petitioned to revoke house arrest. Ty considered whether facing his betrayer might provide closure. He couldn't get otherwise. Tomorrow, Tim arrives. And somehow, they'll all have to find a way to survive living with betrayal. Join us next time as Tim comes to Heartland and the family navigates the impossible. If this episode moved you with its complexity, please like and subscribe. Until next time, this is Cowboys and Cattle.